Hello everyone, today I'm going to be reviewing what I made with 10 501st Clone Trooper battle packs. I was able to make one large build and 3 small extra builds off to the side, and in this review I'll only be having the minifigures for one set inside of it. Let's see what I made. Last minute I wanted to make one thing for each Clone Trooper, and for the officer, I decided to make a little stand for him because I couldn't find anything else. Just a little stand, just to have him on display. And so he's in the set. There's nothing crazy about this. I could have maybe done a little more detailing, but it's hard with the pieces I had remaining because this is the last thing I made. Next, we have a command station for the specialist. And this little command station is a little sniper tower as well. And it's a fairly simple design. It uses all of the most of the clear pieces from the 10 sets because I can implement them anywhere else in the build, but it is a cute little sniper tower that can fit the minifigure, and there's clips on the back if you wanted to put like the weapon or different parts of the minifigure or whatever you want. So yeah, let's get into the third build of this. For the third build, I was able to make a little walker, and the little walker I think is really cute. It works very well as a walker. It has very good pieces. I put his gun on the top of it where the antennas were to give it a little place for a gun because you were not able to fit it anywhere else. It does look a little funny at some of the angles, but you could easily change it. One other idea I had was to do this and flip up the top part to where it looks like a control panel and a little hood for it, which I personally like a lot more, and I feel like I could add a little more details to this to make the sides a little better, but for now this is a really good start to this, and I think it looks very good for what I was able to make last. Those are the last three builds I did. Let's get to the main build of the review. For the main build, I was able to make an AV7 cannon. Now, this cannon Lego was made into a set before, and this is what the battle pack was supposed to represent. I really wanted to make this, and I only was able to use 2 extra parts from other sets, and all it was for stability, not the looks. So you see there's the 2 very long black rods at the bottom of it. That is just so everything holds together so the legs don't snap off, because I had huge problems with the legs building something this size. I figured the legs would be fine because I saw other models about this and they did it smaller, but you can see the 3 connection points. I originally did 2, but they started to break, so I added a 3rd so it would work. Now let's get into the small extra details of the set. Personally, I think this is the best I could possibly do to make an AV7 cannon. Some of the details are a little bit iffy with what the pieces I had, like these bumps here, or like how thin the second part of the leg are, or just anything like that. But overall, it's very symmetrical. And then I added 3 spring-loaded shooters there because the other AV7 cannon had a few turrets, and I wanted to make it look reminiscent of it. And this is kind of what I based it on, and I added a seat for the minifigure. Yeah, and let's go to the little sections. So if we take the minifigure off, we can take the cannon off. It just is held together by 2 studs, and we'll take a look at each section separately. So for the cannon, I use a few different building techniques, and it is a very fragile cannon. This front part's only connected by here, so that's the whole cannon is connected by these point, and there's 2 separate ones. You can see the separation between the bricks. I try to make them look as connected as possible. Now, the biggest thing is this cannon. You may wonder how I got it to look so good with what the pieces I had, and I'm honestly surprised how good I was able to do it too. So I just made this section 2 times and had it connected by 4, and then I used one of the, like the connector pieces to the set, and I used that to connect it to one of the sides, and then I pushed them together a little bit, so it looks like the main cannon is coming out from the center of the cannon itself, which I think looks very good, and I'm really surprised how simple this was to make the cannon, because this is the part I was worried about the most, especially with doing this last. Next, we can take a look at the body, but we'll take a look at the legs separately. So for the leg, originally I wanted to do something similar to the old battle pack build in just the 2 different sections. But for the leg, what I was able to come up with was looking at the actual AV7 cannon and a few of the mocks I made, because this was not going to work. I tried to connect them to these circle pieces there, but it didn't work, and I was getting stuck. I almost scrapped the whole idea together, but I was able to find this, and I was able to make it suitable for this to work by connecting the two. Originally, I didn't have this bottom section here, just the two, and it was very flimsy. It didn't work too well. So I added a separate one here, so it has a much more sturdy build to it. And overall, this is a very sturdy leg and a very good design in my opinion. The only problem I have with it is, of course, like this, it's not all the way through, and how thin the rest of the legs are, but I think it works for what I was trying to make and what parts I had available. And to clarify, I was only using pieces from the 10 battle packs. None of the other pieces, except for the 2, which are, again, only support pieces, because I didn't have other pieces for support left that I could use, are everything else is original except for the 2 black pieces. And I still believe I did a great job with this. Now let's take a look at the main body. So for the main body, I used tons of different techniques, and this is probably one of the hardest challenges I came up with, besides for the cannon itself. This took me a lot of trial and error to even be able to make this. Originally, I went for just the sides. I figured if I start with the sides, the middle will just come into place, which it mostly did. I started with these half U shapes, and I looked at AV7 cannon. They were much bigger, but this is as big as I was able to make them, but it 100% worked out. I'll explain why in a minute. Again, here's a look at the bottom of it. It looks very good. This middle parts, I just made different. Like I built it up a bit just to try to, with any bricks I had, to detail it as much as possible. And if you notice, there's a lot of clips and a lot of pieces that aren't used anywhere. There's one here, 2 here, 1 here, 1 there, 2 there, 1, 2 there, and then all the ones on the bottom. So that was because there isn't any other parts except for the yellow studs, which I used very well across the set. And yes, these yellow studs do have a use. Now, the biggest part I'm proud of myself for this build is making the 2 side parts, like making this connection to the cannon. I wasn't able to get any more studs onto here for the connection itself, otherwise it wouldn't work. I tried it, but there is a few very good details, including the seat. You probably wonder how well it's just sitting in there, because it's a very weird building technique. It's simple, right? Because all it is just this, and then aligning up with the bricks, and I just place it in like that, and then I just cover it up to make it look like it's pretty seamless, and it works very well. The only issue I have with it is I wish I could make it a stud longer, which I probably could right now if I want to, so I'm going to try it to see if it works. My idea for this build did not work, but we can place it back in, and it looks still amazing and very seamless across the board. And yeah, the connection points were very weak, and I don't know, I worked really hard on this. I think this is a beautiful model for what I was able to do. And let's put on all back the legs. So I have them away, I think, yes. That goes there, and I just want to make sure everything's symmetrical while putting them back on. We can put it back on all together just to show you what I was able to do. So we have the little crab, and then we can put on the. So the yellow bricks do have a use. They're to keep the cannon stable. There we go. See, that is why I made the legs bigger than they are, because they will collapse, but that's not a problem. I'll fix it really. All right, sorry, that was the weakest point in the set, is the legs still. They're still the weakest point. So the reason I have the yellow studs there are for the cannon to stop there. Without them, the cannon would just droop all the way down. I wanted to originally get the cannon higher and be able to move it, but that was just inevitably not going to happen with the pieces I had. But it still is at a very nice angle, and I think I did an amazing job with this. And of course, we can place the minifigure down. The hand does have to be back, though, for him to fit in there. Thank you so much for watching this review of 10 of the 5 First Clone Trooper Battle Packs into a custom build. Personally, I'm going to leave this cannon for as long as I like. I really like it. Originally, I thought, you know what, I'll just destroy it once I'm done. No, I actually really like this model, and I think I'm going to keep it for a while. Yeah, so let me know. I don't think I'm going to do instructions, but I'll help anyone if they want to actually build the set, and if they have the 10 available, to try to build it if they like the cannon design. But thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you so much for watching the series. If you haven't checked those videos out already, please do, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye.